Most of you are here now, so we're gonna start a class now. So everyone, you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
I see. So maybe start our class by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times altogether. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. May all make to the blessed one, the worthy one, and the fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Please wait. Okay, good evening and good morning, everyone. I'm Venerable Soratha. Most of you may already know me. As I come today to be instead of Venerable Sok TV, Venerable Master Sok TV, as he is traveling. Maybe now he is in Indonesia, so I will have to take this opportunity to manage the class instead of him. And I would like to ask your apology as well during my turn to manage the class, as my language is not really, accuracy fluently in hearing a talk in English, because this course, the rule of this course, we have to use English. Maybe around more than 9%, because we have learned from other course, from previous course, and we can speak Khmer, but most of the time in this course we have to use only English. But my English language is not really good, really accuracy, so that maybe I have some mistakes during my talk, during my speaking. So I also come to observe all of you yesterday with Venerable Teacher Sok TV. He, last week, he discussed about the how to write Romanized Pali, how to read Romanized Pali, and also he discussed somehow about the 5 precepts, the 5 fundamental precepts. So for today, I'm gonna discuss more about the 5 precepts, the important precepts. Okay. I observed from all of you, last week, Venerable Master Sok TV present you somehow about the 5 precepts and the significance of 5 precepts, and he get you to discuss in the breakout room, and I also go to room by room to listen to your discussion about the 5 precepts. And I heard, I got one important question that our member raised in the discussion. He said, how can we introduce the 5 precepts to non-Buddhists? Normally, we Buddhists, we may have heard about our old generation, our parents, our grandparents. They, normally they usually observe the 5 precepts, the 5 fundamental precepts. But for non-Buddhists, for those who are not Buddhists, how can we introduce the 5 precepts to them, the importance, the significance of 5 precepts to them? How can we, explain them the importance, its significance? So today we will discuss more about it. How can we introduce? How important, how significant is that to observe the 5 precepts, and how we introduce them to non-Buddhists, to other foreigners that they are not Buddhist. So here, I would like to share one important thing to you, that you can learn more about the 5 fundamental precepts, that it establishes a basis for ethical behavior. The Buddha taught that if we adopt these 5 fundamental precepts, we can avoid harming ourselves. We avoid harming oneself and avoid harming others. Moreover, if we modify our behavior by respecting these norms, we become more peaceful, tolerant, and open-minded. And if we change in this way, our conduct toward others become happier and kinder. We can examine the benefits and try this experiment in our own life. Why not try to make the world a calmer, gentler place? When we observe, when we undertake the 5 precepts, the 5 moral precepts or 5 fundamental precepts, we avoid harming ourselves, harming oneself, and avoid harming others as well. And we respect the norms, and we promote the peaceful and the calmer, gentler world. I mean, we promote the peaceful worlds, something like that. So this is the significance that we can learn, and we can also introduce the 5 precepts to others in this way. The important thing is we can introduce them about the karma. The karma, we can introduce them that we can we can explain them, we can introduce them about the reality of karma. So here, last week you already discussed about the 5 precepts, the Romanized Pali, about the Romanized Pali and also the translation. Panatipata, Veramani, Sikha, Padang Samariyami, and so on. So here I just introduced the short sentence, a short statement about the 5 fundamental precepts. Not to cut off life, not to kill, something like that, not to take life, something like that, not to take what has not been given, not to steal other properties, abstain from improper sexual activity, abstain from committing sexual misconduct, avoiding speaking falsely, avoiding telling lies, and avoid drinking alcohol or avoid becoming intoxicated. You know, these five are the fundamental precepts that we must observe, we must undertake in order to promote the peaceful world, the calmer and gentler place to live in. We avoid harming oneself, we avoid harming others, because, you know, as everyone, we know that everyone fear that, we will all fear that. So we have to avoid killing others. We avoid to cut off life. And we break the 5 precepts according to the driving force. What are the driving force, or what are the root that cause the 5 wrongful action to arise, to happen? If we do not observe the 5 precepts, we tend to kill other beings, you know. We tend to cut off life, we tend to take life. We tend to steal what has not been given. We tend to, you know, commit sexual misconduct. We tend to commit improper sexual activity. We tend to speak falsely, and we become intoxicated. We, you know, indulge with alcoholic drink and drug use. So because of these 3 roots, what we can say in Pali, most of venerable and also new may already know about these 3 roots, these 3 main roots, or what we can call unwholesome state that, you know, causes to commit unwholesome action. That is the condition that lead us to commit unwholesome action. What we can call lobha, dosa, and moha. Lobha, that means greed, lust, craving or attachment. Hatred, dosa. The other term we can say anger or aversion. And delusion or moha, or we can say the other term avijja. Avijja and moha are equivalent. This is about delusion or ignorance. So these 3 roots lead us to commit, you know, to take life, to cut off life, to take what has not been given, to commit improper sexual activity, to speak falsely, and to become, you know, intoxicated. Actually, greed and hatred cannot arise together. Whenever greed arises, hatred cannot arise. And whenever hatred arises, greed cannot arise. But the 2 arise together with delusion. Delusion or ignorance is common to all unwholesome action, to all unwholesome. It is the common unwholesome state. It common to all unwholesome action. But, you know, greed and hatred arise interchangeably, arise after one another, cannot arise together. We cannot happy and unhappy at the same time. Greed, that means we are happy, we are tied to things. Hatred, when we are stressed, when we are unhappy, you know, so we cannot be happy and unhappy at the same time. We happy, after that we become unhappy or something like that. So because of these 3 roots that we, you know, commit, that we, you know, break the 5 precepts. To kill, how can we kill? We kill because we had someone, because of hatred, because of dosa, we kill other beings, we cut off life of other beings. And hatred cannot arise alone, it arises together with delusion, moha, right? It arises together with hatred and delusion. This true important root that, you know, condition one to kill, to cut off beings. And The second precepts, we tend to take what has not been given, by one. Can you say anything, Venerable on you? Hello. Some of you may have already learned about this. You steal other property. You take what has not been given because of what? Greed or hatred?
Greed.
Hello?
Greed.
Greed?
Greed.
Yes, greed. And?
Delusion.
And delusion.
Delusion.
Yes. How about hatred? Can we steal other property with hatred? Because you had someone and then you just wanted to destroy them, and then you cheat them or you deceive them, or then you take their property. Can we?
Yes. Yeah, teacher.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
So for stealing other property, we can break this precept because of all the three rules. Greed and hatred cannot arise together, as I said. Because of greed, you may take others' belonging, and greed arises together with delusion. But sometimes you may hate someone, you may hate your enemy, you may hate others, and then you want to destroy them, and you take their belonging, their property. So hatred can also be the condition to break these second precepts. And the third one, what are the conditions that lead us to break this third precept? Delusion, okay?
Yes.
Delusion, teacher.
Yes.
Delusion.
And how about the other two?
And greed.
Greed, for sure.
And be
We
hatred.
commit sexual commit sexual misconduct, improper sexual activity because of greed. And greed arises together with delusion, right? Okay, we can not hatred for this precept. And how about avoid speaking? How about speaking falsely? Telling lies. Delusion can be?
Yeah, delusion
Yeah.
and hatred.
Hatred and delusion.
Hatred. Can we lie others because of greed?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We lie other because of greed, because you have attachment in your mind. You have greed in your mind. You want you want this or you want that, and you may tell falsely. You may speak falsely under the influence of hatred as well. When you hate someone, you may speak falsely. And how about the last one? Becoming intoxicated. Delusion. Yeah,
Yes.
common to all unwholesome actions. How about greed? Can be? Because you
Yes,
are happy?
Yes. Greed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you meet your friend, because you are happy, and then you can, drink alcohol. Okay, you may use drugs or something like that. And when you are unhappy, when you are stressed, can we use alcohol?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this for the last one. To me personally, I think all the three unwholesome state may arise because, but there is no mention. But we can think, we can examine by ourselves. We may happy, we drink, and sometimes we may be stressful, we may be unhappy, and then we can drink. Okay, because of delusion that causes to drink. Delusion is common to all unwholesome actions. So here, the three roots that cause us to break the precepts, that lead us to break the precepts, to cut off life, to take what has not been given, to commit improper sexual activity, to speak falsely, and to become intoxicated. Right? We take life because of hatred and delusion. We take what is not given because of greed, sometimes because of greed, sometimes because of hatred, right? And also delusion. We commit improper sexual activity because of greed, right? And also delusion. We speak falsely, we tell lies, sometimes because of greed, attachment, or lust, sometimes because of hatred and also delusion. Becoming intoxicated, sometimes because of greed, attachment, or lust, or craving, sometimes because of hatred or anger, and also delusion, right? So we break the 5 precepts. So now you understand the how we can break the 5 precepts. And here we can see that everything we do matters. We are the creator of our own destiny. We are the creator of our own fates, and we are the creator. Each of you, each of us are the creator, is the creator of our peaceful world, and and we are the creator of our our war, of our turmoil society. So everything we do matters. We are our own creator of our peaceful world, and we are the one who destroy our world to make our world to live in unhappy world, unhappy family, something like that. So we need to look at ourselves, understand our situation, and assume full responsibility for what happened to us. You can assume full responsibility for what happened to you. You can look at yourself, understand your circumstance, and understand your situation. Sometimes your life is up, sometimes your life is down. What we call worldly dharma or loka dharma. Sometimes you gain what you want, sometimes you got fame, sometimes some other people praise you, sometimes you gain happiness for yourself, for your own family, but sometimes you got lost, sometimes you have no friends. Other people may not like you, may dislike like you. Sometimes you got blamed by other people. Sometimes you become unhappy, you encounter unhappiness for yourself, for your family. You need to look at yourself, understand the up and down of your life, and you assume for responsibility for what happened to all of you, to all of us. We do reap what we sow, right? We do reap what we sow. Our lives today are the result of what we thought, said, and did in the past. What we sing, say, and do today will likewise shape our future. You form your future, you create your future, you shape your future. For you are the result of what you were, and you will be okay, how to say, you are what you were, and you will be what you are. I mean, your life today are the result of what you thought, you said, and you did in the past. What you did, what you said, and what you thought in the past condition your situation now, and what you think, say, and do today. What you think, say, and do now will shape your future, will create your future, will form your future. So treat others the way you want to be treated. Do not treat others the way you do not want to be treated. If you harm others, you will be harmed. If you respect others, you will be respected. If you love others, you will be loved. If you have peaceful thoughts, you will have peace. Everything will come back to you, whether it is good or bad. Thus, everything you do matters. We do matters. You are the creator. You are responsible, something like that. You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for unhappiness. The happiness of the world and unhappiness of the world, you are the creator. You are responsible. So if you perform, if you undertake or observe the five precepts, the world will be peaceful. That means you do not treat others. You do not treat bad to yourself and others, because everyone needs peace. Everyone needs happiness. But if you break the five precepts, you tend to take life, you tend to steal what is not given, you tend to commit and improper sexual misconduct, you tend to tell lies, you tend to use alcoholic drink. That means you make this world, you condition this world to be unhappiness, to be not peaceful. So you need to treat others as like you treat yourself. You love yourself, so you treat good to you, you behave good to yourself, so others. I mean, if you harm others, you will be harmed as well. If you love others, you will be loved as well. If you respect others, you will be respect others. But if you do not respect others, you will not be respected. If you do not love others, you will not be loved. If you have an evil thoughts, you will have an evil life. So everything will come back to you. So we can explain like that. I think we can explain like that to non-Buddhists about the reality of karma, the reality of cause and effect. You are responsible. You are the creator of your own fate, your own destiny, the happiness and the unhappiness, the welfare of the world. You are the one who can condition the world to be happy, to be peaceful. I mean, everything around you to be peaceful because of your action, because what you think, because of what you say, because of what you do. Here the benefits of observing the five precepts, the five fundamental or five moral precepts, what we call Panchasila. You have discussed already from last week about this term. Pancha means five, Sila means precepts or morality. So here the benefits of observing the five precepts. First ones, sin the bodily and verbal actions of a person who diligently observe Panchasila are blameless and praiseworthy. He possesses the best moral character. Right? You possess the best moral character. Whenever because your bodily and verbal actions become blameless and praiseworthy, you do not break the precepts, you possess the best moral character. The second, since he avoids doing harm to any living beings, he brings peace and happiness to all living beings, including himself. When you undertake or when you observe the five precepts, that means you bring peace and happiness to yourself and also to all living beings in this world. Since you can prevent gross and aggressive defilements such as greed, lobha, hatred, dosa from arising in his mind, he enjoy peace and happiness instantly. You know, immediately you avoid, you know, harming others, avoid harming yourself, avoid killing, avoid stealing, and so on and so forth. You prevent gross and aggressive defilement, you know, such as greed, hatred, and delusion. Even it is just the momentary prevention. I mean, temporary prevention from arising in your mind. You can enjoy peace and happiness instantly. At the moment you can prevent, at the moment you can, you know, you can overcome hatred, you avoid killing. If you cannot overcome your hatred, you may kill other beings. Because as we discussed earlier, we can kill other beings because of hatred and delusion. These are the main rules. So if we can, when we prevent gross and aggressive defilements such as greed and hatred, so from arising in your mind, you can enjoy peace and happiness instantly. Loving kindness, metta, and compassion, karuna, bloom in a person of good morality. So his face is calm and adorable. People love and respect him. Therefore, he can join in the assembly of people with grace and boldness. You know. Panchasila presents the most beautiful and attractive dress as well as the best perfume, right? So the Panchasila, the precepts may represent the most beautiful and attractive dress. I mean, you wear an attractive dress before you go out, and then you possess the best perfume, the good smell, the good odor, right? Because you observe, you undertake the 5 precepts. A virtuous person, because of his mindfulness and diligence, will succeed in business and amazing riches. You know, regarding to your business, so it's important to observe the 5 precepts. A virtuous person with mindfulness and diligence will succeed, you know, will accomplish in business and amazing riches. His good fame spread far and wide. Those who have good morality will spread far and wide. As recently, you know, our teacher, I think maybe all of you, also his student, when like Mr. Sansichir, before he was Venerable Sansichir, now he become Mr. Sansichir because of his good morality, because of his everyone, you know, feel shocked. Everyone was unhappy when he disrobed, you know, made a regret of him, because when he stay in monkhood, he can, you know, teach the Dhamma, he can explain the Dhamma, you know, in the way that we can understand easily. But now he disrobed, you know, we all regret of him. But because of his good virtue as well, because of his good morality as well, his fame become, you know, spread far and wide. In Asankhya Sutta, the Buddha advises a person to keep pure morality if he wishes to win the adoration of his companions, great wealth, fame, and high position. Yes. A person of pure morality will be free from 4 types of danger. You will be free from 4 types of danger when you observe or undertake the 5 precepts. You will be free from the danger of being blamed by yourself. He is free from the danger of being blamed by himself. He is free from the danger of being blamed or dispraised by others. He is free from the danger of being punished by the law. He is free from the danger of being reborn in a woeful abode after death. You know, you will be free from being blamed by yourself, being blamed by others, being punished by the law, and also being reborn in the woeful abode after death. For us as ordinary being, what we can say in Pali Patujana, ordinary being, ordinary worldling, we have no incidents. We have no incidents to ensure that we are not go to to ensure of being reborn in woeful abode, woeful state. You know, to be reborn as the woeful abode, like to be reborn as animal, I mean Terichana in Pali, animal or Terichana in Pali, hell being Niriya, in, you know, Peta, hungry ghosts and demon, Asura Kaya. Chẳng dương ọt miên incident, ọt miên lệ khả nạ vay mối đã ai thân địa bàn thà dương ai rụi phọt ẩm bìa bài cùng tề nông niêm chỉ bật thuật chuẩn ordinary worldling or ordinary being. We have no incidents, we have no anything to ensure that, any incident to ensure that we can you can keep away from the four woeful abode, like animal birds, or hungry ghost birds, or hell birds, or demon birds. We have no incidents. But if we observe, we undertake the 5 precepts, it is you know, can be the incident, the temporary incidents, to keep us away from 4 unwholesome, from 4 woeful abode. But for the Ariya Pukala, the noble person, start from the Sotapati Pukala, the stream enterer, the stream winner, he is sure that he can be away from woeful abode. All of us have no incident. The noble person has incident, you know, but only we observe, we undertake the 5 precepts, we can be sure to keep away, to be away from 4 woeful abode, apaya. Chẳng cả na bây giờ bạn sama tiền sơ pram người bạn chọc chuốn, bây giờ ai miền chỉ cả đại thân yêu mùi thay dương ọt miền dương ọt pay tha năng từ ca được nông ở bài cùng đôi chia Ariya Bukul lục miền lục thà bà lót thà lục mình từ ca nào bài cùng tiệt tế chạp bị sao ta lắng tới phần tay dương chỉ bật thuật chốn dương ọt miền ấy thân yêu bạn tế chẳng miền từ sau năng anh. Only we observe, we undertake the 5 precepts. So when we observe, when our we have pure morality, we will be free from this 4 danger. The danger of being blamed by oneself, being blamed by others, being punished by the law, and being reborn in the woeful abode after death. He will be free from delusion and perplexity at the time of death. You know, you will be free from delusion, perplexity at the time of death. Remembering the meritorious deeds he has done. When you commit unwholesome action, when you break the precepts, you know, you will become delusion, you will become perplexity at the time of death, and you forget the meritorious deed at you has done in your past. You remorse, you feel remorse. You may be remorseful with unwholesome action you has accumulated in the past. But when you observe the 5 precepts, your mind is stable, your mindfulness is stable, you are free from delusion and perplexity at the time of death, remembering the meritorious deed you have done. He will be reborn in the blissful abode after death. You have no fear of being reborn in, you may have no fear or danger in being reborn in a woeful abode after that, and you will be reborn in a blissful abode after death. Everyone should willingly and diligently observe the moral precepts of Panchasila, as the benefits are very great and the evil consequences are terrible if one breaks the precepts. If everyone observes Panchasila diligently, there will be eternal peace in the whole world. Thus, Panchasila is regarded as the guardian of the world as well. The guardian of the world, in Pali we can say Lokapala Dhamma, Lokapala Thoa. Pala, that means protection. Loka means world. The Dhamma or the virtue or the principle that can protect the world, that can preserve or serve or save the world from being destroyed. If everyone observes Panchasila diligently, there will be eternal peace in the whole world. The five fundamental precepts is regarded as, considered as the guardian of the world as well, Lokapala as well. And there are two principles, two Dhamma that we call the guardian of the world, or we can say the Teva Dhamma, the principle for the celestial being, the Dhamma for the celestial being as well. Moral shame, hiri, and moral dread or moral fear, or tapa. Hiri or tapa. This is the Teva Dhamma. I mean, the principle or the law for being observed by the celestial being, by the deity. And when we observe, when we undertake this two principle, the two law, doctrine, I mean, you can make the world become a celestial world, just like the place for the celestial being. អញ្ចឹងពេលដែលយើងសមាទានសិល 5 នឹងឲ្យបានខ្ជាប់ខ្ជួន លោកដែលយើងរស់នៅ ទីកន្លែងដែលយើងរស់នៅ មិនខុសអំពីទេវតាទេ ណា មិនខុសអំពីឋានរបស់ទេវតាទេ អញ្ចឹង so we when we observe, when we undertake, we accumulate these two virtues, moral shame, hiri, and moral dread, fear, or tapa. So I mean, we can make the world we live become peaceful. Anyway, however, if we fail to practice to accumulate these two virtues, and then if we accumulate the opposing virtue like ahirika and anotapa, right? Moral shamelessness and moral fearlessness, and then we destroy our world, because moral shamelessness and moral fearlessness are opposed to the virtue, the two virtue above. អញ្ចឹងគុណធម៌ជាដែលជាហិរិនិងអោតបៈហ្នឹងគឺបដិបៈផ្ទុយគ្នាទៅនឹងអហិរិកៈនិងអនោតបៈ any question, Venerable Khin Kun?
Yep, thank you very much, Venerable Teacher. I have a question about the word moral. The moral mean good deed and moral shame. ខ្ញុំណាចង់មានន័យថាពាក្យ moral ហ្នឹងប្រែថាអំពើល្អឬក៏វាផ្ទុយនឹងអំពើមិនល្អ immoral ដល់ពេល moral shame មានន័យថាខ្មាស់អំពើល្អចឹង
This is the term that we use to refer to hiri, right? Moral shame that mean the virtues that are shameful to wrongdoing, right? Virtue or moral that are shameful to wrongdoing. បានន័យថាគុណធម៌ ឬក៏ធម៌ដែលជាបានន័យថាធ្វើឲ្យសភាពចិត្តរបស់យើងនឹងខ្មាស់ចំពោះអំពើបាប something like that
អូបាទខ្ញុំតែច្រឡំប្រែតាមពាក្យអញ្ចឹងបានអញ្ចឹងអរគុណច្រើន
yeah you should not translate according to the term shame mean ខ្មាស់ in Khmer moral mean you shame you are shameful of morality not like that that mean there is the virtue or the moral that enable you to be shameful of wrongdoing something like that the virtue that enable you to fear to be fearful to be dreadful of wrongdoing of wrong unwholesome action អញ្ចឹងគុណធម៌ទាំងពីរនេះធ្វើឲ្យពិភពលោកសន្តិភាពគឺជាធម៌រក្សាលោក they are the guardian of the world and the two below virtue the destroyer of the world moral shamelessness you are shameless of wrongdoing and you are fearless of wrongdoing I will get you to read one and talk here in okay screen everyone you cannot see okay we share can you see my screen now
Yes.
okay here in Abhidhamma in daily life we discuss a little bit about the term ahirika moral shamelessness moral you are shameless of wrongdoing lack of moral is called ahirika all immoral unwholesome deeds are like feces you know feces shamelessness ahirika is like a village swine here mean pig a village pig feces គឺសំដៅទៅដល់ជ្រាំភក់ឬក៏លាមកអីហ្នឹងជាដើម is very disgusting being soy with it is embarrassing in the presence of people when you are soy with feces when you are soy with with mood it's kind of embarrassing in the presence of people but for this sorry
mud not mood mud
right mood mud right okay mud sorry mud but for the swine feces is fine food right for the swine or for the pig feces or for the mud is fine food it is not disgusting and so there is no need to be embarrassed when soy with it swine surely enjoy rolling playing about in feces and partaking of it in the same way tucharitas that mean unwholesome wrong deeds such as taking life for example are detestable are hateful deeds for the virtuous people the virtuous person never take life never steal other belonging other property but for the unvirtuous person he tend to take life he tend to steal other belonging other property even such deeds are committed unwittingly are committed unintentionally it will be regarded shameful by the virtuous but the ahirika is not having detestation to do wrong deeds and not feeling ashamed of wrong action as a matter of fact the shameless among themselves regard wrong deeds as something to take pride in he is happy he is very very proud of his wrongdoing just like the swine the village swine the village pig he roll he play in the fish in the mud and parting of it without shamelessness So when we break the precept, we may, have no shameless of killing, of stealing, of committing sexual misconduct, right? So we can explain, we can understand like that, compared to the village pig that playing with the mood or with the mud or with with the fish without shamelessness. And anotapa, moral fearlessness, lack of dread is having no fear, no dread, anotapa. In other words, anotapa means devoid of moral trait. Devoid of moral trait. Evil deeds are like an open flame. Open flame. Anotapa is like how to say this, Melanie, moods or what? Melanie. Are you here with me?
cái nào cũngប្រើបើកញញូនចេះបាន
Okay.
ណាអាន moose
Moose, right? Moose. អានឹងនៃភាសាខ្មែរយើងថាមកមេឃបលែងភ្លើងដោយអត់ភ័យខ្លាចជាមួយនឹងការអន្តរាយពីការឆេះខ្លួនហ្នឹងយើងអាចប្រែថាសត្វល្អិតវាទៅបលែងភ្លើងទៅលេងភ្លើងដោយអត់មានភ័យខ្លាច so we break the precepts, we take life, we steal other property without any fear of the result of unwholesome action, right? ដូចជាមមាញអញ្ចឹងដែលទៅបលែងទៅលេងជាមួយភ្លើងហ្នឹងវាអត់ខ្លាចឆេះថាឆេះទៅវាអន្តរាយដល់ខ្លួនឯងវាអត់ភ័យអត់ខ្លាចអត់ព្រួយណា but in fact the open flame is to be very much dreaded. However, moose do not sing the open flame are dreadful and recklessly fly into it ណា ក៏ហើរហោះទៅបលែងលេងជាមួយនឹងភ្លើងអញ្ចឹងទៅ just so evil deeds cause a variety of sufferings, so they are indeed to be dreaded, but moha delusion conceal those resultant sufferings, and another part does not see them as dreadful. Those factors prompt the doing of evil deeds boldly. With regard to evil deeds, the following dangers are impending. Okay, so because of moha, blind or conceal you to see the result of suffering, and also another part does not see them as dreadful. So those factors prompt បានន័យថា prompt ហ្នឹងគឺសង្ខារបានន័យថាដឹកនាំយើងឲ្យប្រព្រឹត្តធ្វើនៅអំពើអកុសលផ្សេងហ្នឹងណាដោយដឹកនាំយើងកុំឲ្យឃើញនៅភ័យអំពីការអំពីសត្វដូចសត្វល្អិតចឹងទៅអវិជ្ជាហ្នឹងអាការមិនដឹងអាការមិនស្គាល់អន្តរាយនៃការទៅបលែងភ្លើងបានបិទបាំងគាត់អំពីទុក្ខទោសនឹងឯង right? So and another part does not see them as dreadful. So here we can understand the ahirika and another part, right? When we are overwhelmed, we are influenced by these two unwholesome state, we tend to break the precept, we tend to commit unwholesome action, to accumulate unwholesome action. Okay. So here we normally hear the monk utter this verse ជាធម្មតាក្រោយពេលសមាទានសិលហ្នឹងចិត្តបញ្ចប់សមាទានសិល at the end of observing the precepts, the Buddhist monk always utter this verse. Silena sukatim yanti, right? Silena bhoga sampada, silena neputim yanti, tasma silam visodiye. You already learned about how to read and how to write the Romanized Pali script. It's for most of you, especially for monk and Nyum who already learned the Romanized Pali, already know. And the monk usually, utter this verse, silent. In Khmer Pali, we can say Sailena Sopatang Yante, Sailena Hoka Sampati, Sailena Naputang Yante, Tasma Sailang Visao Te. Right? Silena Supatim Yanti, Silena Hoka Sambada, Silena Niputim Yanti, Tasma Silam Visoraye. With morality, good birth is gained, right? You were reborn in the, in the good destination. With morality, well is achieved. With morality, perfect peace is attained. Perfect peace or liberation or emancipation, that is Nibbana. What we can say in Pali, Nibban or Napin. Here, some name Khmer, Nirvana in Sanskrit. Perfect peace, liberation or emancipation or Nibbana is attained with morality. With morality as the foundation, of course, the fundamental. Without morality, we cannot practice samadhi and vipassana. Tasmasilang visoriye, therefore, thus morality should be purified. You should purify your morality. By observing, undertaking the 5 precepts. Not to take life, not to steal other property, not to commit sexual misconduct, not to tell lies, and not to use alcoholic drink and drug. This is what we discuss more about the 5 precepts that you already discussed with Venerable Master Soktivi from previous week. So I will stop the discussion about the 5 precepts here. And I will move to another topic about the first sermon of the Buddha, the first sermon of the Buddha, the first discourse taught by the Buddha. I follow the the schedule given by Venerable Master Soktivi. So just last week he practiced, previous week he practiced. He discussed about Romanized Pali or 5 precepts, daily devotion, so on and so forth. And coming to this week, we will discuss about the first sermon of the Buddha. Can you say in Pali a bit about the first sermon of the Buddha? What is it? Venerable Anyom?
It's called Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta.
Okay, thank you, Venerable Sir Satun. The first sermon taught by the Buddha named Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta. Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta. Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta. Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta. So we continue to discuss about this. Actually, this topic I already discussed. If you are with me during the level 2, you already discussed about this topic. Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta. កាលពី level 2 ក៏ខ្ញុំកណាបានចែករំលែករួចហើយទៅនឹង Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta នេះ So we discuss a bit more about this. Who preached this important sutta? Who preached this first sermon was the Buddha himself. The Buddha himself preached this important sermon.
Yes, he was.
Yes, and the audience or the listener, the fan, we can say the fan or the audience or the listeners of the Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta as a human being, the 5 ascetics mainly, as you all know, all venerable and you know, that the first sermon taught mainly to these 5 ascetics. Còn đại nhất, Vapa, Hatiya, Mahanama, and Assaji. What we can say, Panchavekipiko, or we can say the term 5 ascetics. No? 5 ascetics. Còn đại nhất, Vapa, Hatiya, Mahanama, and Assaji, and also Deva, and also celestial beings. No? A number of a numerous of celestial being មួយលើទៅដោយទេវតារាប់មិនអស់ណាប៉ុន្តែជាសំខាន់បំណងរបស់ព្រះសម្មាសម្ពុទ្ធសម្ដែងនៅធម្មចក្រកបវត្តនសូត្រចំពោះភិក្ខុទាំង5រូបនឹងឯងដែលហៅថាជាអ្នករួមដំណើរជាមួយព្រះអង្គពីបុរាណពីមុនពេលដែលព្រះអង្គ when he were practice austerity, self-mortification, that 5 ascetics accompany with him, serve him, something like that. Konanya, Vapa, Hatiya, Mahanama, and Assaji. And the place, where did the Buddha taught, where did the Buddha preach this important sermon? At Varanasi, Isipatana, in the deer park. In the deer park, Isipatana at Varanasi, or we can say Varanasi. In India, Indian people they call Varanachit. Oh no, sorry. Man, Jalam. Pundi how about percentage Kausal have percentage something like that. I confused. Now Varanasi. Okay, place Varanasi Isipatana in the deer park. And how about time?
បងគ្រូអត់ឃើញ screen ឃើញអីអភិធម្ម
ឃើញ the screen អភិធម្មវិញ
ណា
Oh sorry.ឃើញ screen slide ឯង
អត់ឃើញបង
សុំ
នៅក្នុងចាស់អត់មូនៅតែ
សុំម្ដងទៀត Can you see now?
Yes I can.
Yeah, my slide not the textbook, no? Sorry, please wait a bit. So the preacher of this important sermon was the Buddha, and the audience or the listener are the 5 ascetics. Còn là nhé, Vapa, Hatiya, Mahanama, and Assaji. The place was in the deer park, Isipatana, Varanasi in India nowadays, and the time, full moon day of Asadha or Asalaha, Saturday evening. I got confused with this number. Sorry, with this number is not. No need to use this number. Do you see my screen, right?
No.
No.
See you, please.
You're only your first teacher.
Sorry. Okay.
That's okay. I see now.
Okay, the Buddha taught this important sermon on the full moon day of Asata or Asala, Saturday evening, 2 months after the enlightenment of the Buddha. 2 months after his enlightenment, the Buddha went to Varanasi to deliver, to preach this important sermon. Actually, during the before the Versa ណាពេលដែលថ្ងៃចូលភាសាហ្នឹងគឺព្រះអង្គសម្ដែងនៅធម្មចក្រប្រវត្តិនសូត្រនេះ Meaning of the title, the discourse on turning the wheel of truth. Here, Dhamma mean truth. Dhamma mean truth. Chakra mean wheel. Pavatana mean turning. And sutta mean discourse. The discourse on the turning the wheel of truth. This is the meaning of the sutta, the meaning of the discourse. Back to learn. What are the importances? What are the significances we can learn from this important sutta? We learn to avoid the two extremes, the way on that. We learn this important discourse in order to avoid, to escape, to be away from the two extremes. The way on that, the way on that. On that topi. What we can say in Khmer, ផ្លូវអមខាងពីរ two extremes, and to view, to see the four noble truths, Chaturariya Satya, and to follow the noble eightfold paths. In Pali we say Attang Kikamaka, Attang Kikamaka, Attang Kikamet. Or we can say at the term middle way, Machima Padipada. Middle mean Machima, way mean Padipada. Path, middle path or middle way. To follow the noble eightfold paths or the middle way. So these are the facts that we can learn from this important sutta, this important discourse. To avoid the two extremes, to view the four noble truths, and to follow the noble eightfold paths. To follow the noble eightfold paths. So we will discuss all about this important facts to learn. Today I will discuss about this point. And from next week, you will know more about this last 2 points, the four noble truths and the noble eightfold paths with Cambodian teacher or foreign teacher. I will invite other foreign teacher to present about this point as well. Maybe Burmese monk or others teacher to present about this 2 points. But some of you already we already discussed somehow about this point, the four noble truths, the noble eightfold paths, and you will learn more about this, right? ផ្លូវអមខាងពីរ the two extremes. In English we can say the two extremes, the way on that. ផ្លូវអមខាងពីរ What are the two extremes? Kama Sukhalika Yoga. In Romanized Pali, you already learned, we already discussed about the Romanized Pali, how to write and how to read with an R, right? Ka, kama, sukhalika nu yoga, right? Kama sukhalika nu yoga. Now, in Khmer, we can say Kama Sukhalika Yoga. Kama Sukhalika Yoga. The meaning is attachment to the practice of self-indulgence. You can say shortly, self-indulgence. All right. The attachment to the practice of self-indulgence, or you can say the enjoyment in sense pleasure, right? You have to avoid the extreme way. The first extreme way is attachment to the practice of self-indulgence, enjoyment in the sense pleasure. You attach, you enjoy with the sense world. The sense of, the sense of matter or the sense of form, visible form, the sense of sound, the sense of, smell, the sense of taste, the sense of tangible object, the sense of mental object. So you attach, you enjoy with the six sense world. You drop to mui to nâng hai tha lok của mui. Rút, sầm lên, khấn, rút, how tapet, and tomiram. So you attach, you enjoy, you indulge with the sense world, form, sound, smell, taste, tangible object, and mental object. And the second extreme way, extreme path, is Atta Kila Matana Yoga. No? Atta Kila Matana Yoga. In Cambodian term, we can say Atta Kila Matana Yoga. Atta Kila Matana Yoga. This is the second extreme ways that we have to avoid. We have to escape from it. That is the attachment to practice of self-mortification, self-austerity, right? អញ្ចឹងគឺការជាប់ជំពាក់ជាមួយនឹងការប្រព្រឹត្តបដិបត្តិជាមួយនឹងការធ្វើខ្លួនឲ្យលំបាក ទីមួយគឺការជាប់ជំពាក់ជាមួយទៅនឹងការត្រេកត្រអាលនៅក្នុងការមគុណណាការមកសិក្ខាលេកានយោគៈមួយទៀតគឺការជាប់ជំពាក់ជាមួយនឹងការប្រព្រឹត្តខ្លួនឲ្យលំបាកណា so we can go to what the Buddha taught book. Okay. Here, actually, this is the Magga, the path, the Fourth Noble Truth, but it explained. It also explains somehow about the two extremes. The Fourth Noble Truth is that of the way leading to the cessation of dukkha, cessation of suffering. Dukkha nirodha kamini padipada ariya sajja. This is known as the middle path, Majjhima Padipada, because it avoids the two extremes. One extreme being the search for happiness through the pleasures of sense, which is low, common, unprofitable, and the way of ordinary people. The other being the search for happiness through self-mortification in different forms of asceticism, just like when the Buddha, practiced his self-mortification, practiced his self-austerity, ពេលដែលព្រះអង្គធ្វើនៅទុក្ករកិរិយា so this kind of practice is called asceticism គឺបដិបត្តិតាមបែបតបោះតាមរបៀបពួកតបោះវាមិនមែនជាមាគ៌ាដ៏ល្អមាគ៌ាដ៏ប្រសើរទេគឺការធ្វើខ្លួនឲ្យលំបាក right the forms of asceticism which is painful unworthy and unprofitable having himself first tried these two extremes and having found them to be useless, the Buddha discovered through personal experience the middle path, which gives vision and knowledge, which leads to calm, insight, enlightenment, nirvana. This middle path is generally referred to as the Noble Eightfold Path, Ariya Atthankika Magga, because it is composed of 8 categories or divisions. You will know later. Most of you already know about the Noble Eightfold Path and also the meaning, and you will learn more with other teachers. So the two extremes you already know. The first one, attachment to the practice of self-indulgence, enjoyment in sense pleasure. And the second one, attachment to the practice of self-mortification. You can say in short, self-indulgence and self-mortification or self-austerity. This is the practice of asceticism, right? Self-austerity of self-mortification, the practice of asceticism, which is painful, unprofitable, and lead to misery. Here, falls of the two extremes. ន័យថាទោសរបស់ផ្លូវអមខាងពីរហ្នឹង Kamasakalika Yoga, it lead to low or vulgar, hino in Pali. It lead to low. It common to ordinary man, not common to a noble man, noble person. It only common to ordinary man. Right? Gamo belong to ordinary person, right? Not belong to noble person. Ignoble, right? Anariyo, ignoble, not the noble person, not practice this way, not practice the way to attach with the sense pleasure, the self-indulgence, and connected with misery, right? Connected with misery, unprofitable, and the falls of the Attakalamatthana Yoga, the second extremes way, is suffering or painful to poor, ignoble, anariyo, connected with misery, right? Connected with misery. Okay, anatta sanyito. These are the falls of the two extremes that the Buddha admonished us, the Buddha taught us to avoid. To avoid the self-indulgence because it is low, it is vulgar, right? Vulgar. Hino mean low or vulgar, or we can say small. Is we have the term Hinayana. Actually, there are two schools or two sects of Buddhism, Theravada Buddhism and Hinayana Buddhism. Sorry, Mahayana Buddhism. The Mahayana school of Buddhism, they usually call us the Hinayana. Bạn này thà chữ nó yin tôi, kia nó yin thông. Because we follow the Theravada teaching, dương đã xa rồi có dương propertam padepatam sapip tăng rắn. Từ tam vì nay và nhậtរបស់ សាសនា សម្ពុទ្ធ Chẳng cái hai thầy dưỡng diện tồi diện nó đặt mà nó bàn tạch. The small vehicle, the low or vulgar vehicle, they call themselves the big, the maha, the huge vehicle that can store or put many people. But actually we normally call ourselves as Theravada. We follow the elder, that means Theravada, that means the elder. We follow the teaching of the Buddha, the real teaching of the Buddha, including Vinaya, Sattanta, and Abhidhamma. But in Mahayana, they follow only Sattanta and Mahayana, but not Vinaya. So the Kama Sakalakana Yoga, the self-indulgence lead to low, common, belong to ordinary person, ignoble and connected with misery. And self-mortification lead to suffering. It is ignoble, it is connected with misery. That's why these are the facts that the Buddha admonished us, the Buddha taught us to avoid these two extremes way. When we practice, if we practice this two extreme way, we cannot find way to attain the liberation, to attain emancipation or nibbana. We will lose ourselves in the jungle of, in this jungle, in this thick jungle, and then we cannot find ways to get out this jungle, the jungle of, how to say, the jungle of karma, the jungle of, greed, hatred, and delusion, because, these two extremes cannot lead us to avoid or to destroy, to overcome with unwholesome root, and many unwholesome roots such as greed, hatred, and delusion. Such as in the modern world, we are enjoying the, enjoying in sense pleasure, enjoying with good clothes, enjoying with good sound, with good smell, the smell of perfume, the smell of powder. We enjoy this with the, with the good taste. A lot of food in the market, in the supermarket, in Eon 1 or in Eon 2, we may go to enjoy our food, so that if we attach to that form, to visible form, attached to sound or attached to smell or taste, we cannot find way to overcome, to destroy, or to uproot the unwholesome state like greed, hatred, and delusion. That's why the Buddha admonished us or taught us to, to avoid the two extremes. The second extreme as well, it led to weakness of intellect, right? When you practice austerity, austerity or intelligence, it cannot bring us with, the strong intelligence, but it weakens our intellect. And the other practice beside the Noble Eightfold Paths, the Buddha called it the wrong, the extremes, the wrong way, the extremes way. We cannot attain the supreme bliss, or attain the liberation. General ការបដិបត្តិអីក៏ដោយដែលវាផ្ទុយដែលវាខុសអំពីអរិយមគ្គខុសអំពីមគ្គអង្គ8សម្មាសម្ពុទ្ធលោកហៅថាជា extreme way គឺព្រះអង្គលោកហៅមាគ៌ាដែលជាហៅថាមាគ៌ាខុស the wrong way, the extreme way, as two. The first one self indulgence, and the second one self mortifications. Yes. Okay. So I think it's time for our discussion. I already present somehow about, the two extremes that we have to avoid, these two extremes, avoid the self-indulgence and self-mortification. And it is low, it is common, it is belong to ordinary person, not belong to noble person, and it lead to misery. It connected with misery, it is painful, so on and so forth. So I think it's time for you to discuss these three questions, right? how can we introduce the 5 precepts to non-Buddhists? As I said earlier, I heard from some of you discuss about this, and I would like to raise this question for all of you to discuss more about this. Right? How can we Buddhists, we have just learned about the 5 precepts. So the 5 precepts is so important, is so significant for ourselves and for others, for all other sentient beings as well. The peaceful, the happiness about other beings as well. So how can we introduce these 5 fundamental precepts to non-Buddhists? And how significant is it to learn the first sermon of the Buddha? The first sermon you already know about that. It is about the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. And why should we avoid the 2 extremes? These 3 questions you can discuss. You can discuss 1 question or 2 questions or all the 3 questions, because as you already know that this course want to get you to speak much more than the other course. This is the last course of the batch. This is the batch 1. So we want to get you, we want to encourage you to speak. So you can discuss about this first question, or this second question, or this third question, or all the questions I have here. You can discuss.
Only 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope you get my presentation today. From next week, you will have you will learn with other teachers. But I still be here to manage the class, but you will have to learn with other presenters. So I would like to end the class today. Any mistake I made during the class, so please do apologize me. So we end the class by radiating our metta loving kindness to beings. Let me share the screen again. Oh. Okay, so we end the class all together. Dukkhapatta jane dukkha payapatta jane piya sokapatta jane soka hontu sape pipanino. May all beings who have fallen into suffering be without suffering, who have fallen into danger be without danger, who have fallen into sorrow be without sorrow. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So thank you for today, everyone, Venerable and you. So see you next week.
Sadhu. Good night, teacher.
Okay, good night.